Have you ever nodded along to a conversation and understood nothing about it? Yeah, that was me. Everyone around me was talking about AI like it was the simplest thing in life. And to be honest, I was scared. Hi, I'm Suzy, and I simplify AI for real life. Here's where I want to start. So a few months before I started who's using? A few months before I started using AI, I was already hearing about it everywhere. At dinner, on my phone, at work, and I was doing what I think most people do. I was nodding along, pretending I was understanding more than I actually did, and hoping no one asked me anything, because if they did, I would have to admit that I had no idea what everyone was talking about. And the thing that I didn't expect was how much this was messing up with me. Not the confusion itself, but what the confusion meant to me. I work in tech. I care about these things. And I couldn't follow a simple conversation about AI. So I started questioning my worth. I started questioning if I was indeed a tech person, if I should indeed be working with tech. I started questioning my value. And if this sounds familiar to you, I want you to hear one thing. You're in the right place. We're going to go through this together, from the very beginning, in a way that actually makes sense.
Tá torto. Será que tá torto mesmo?
So let me tell you what actually happened to me. At the beginning, I was just ignoring AI. I thought it was just going to be a trend, like have a peak and then disappear and we move on. But then it didn't. It just got louder and louder, and more people were talking about it, and it was everywhere. Even my husband started using it. I thought, okay, he was always more tech than I. His experience is not going to be the same as mine. But he kept showing me things that would have taken hours for him to do, done in minutes. For example, an email that would have taken him 30 minutes to write, done in 5 minutes. A research that would have taken hours, done in 10 minutes. And that's when I started getting curious. I wasn't a convert yet, but I was curious enough to do one thing, the thing that made sense to me. I Googled it. But that's when things got worse.
What I found when I was looking for
What I found when I was looking for answers was a lot. So much that it was overwhelming. Tutorials, courses, experts explaining how to properly use it, YouTube videos that were 3-hour long, people talking about prompt engineering like it was a separate language, Twitter threads, Reddit posts, newsletters, LinkedIn articles. Everyone had a take. Everyone was using terms that I didn't understand yet. And the more I consumed, the more behind I felt, which is such a specific kind of awful feeling, because you start looking for something to feel less lost, and by the end of it, you feel more lost, more behind. I remember watching this one video in particular that was using terms that I've never heard before, tools that I've never seen, moving fast and assuming I was keeping up. So by the end of the video, I was there sitting thinking, I know less now than I did before I pressed play. Have you ever felt that? Like trying to learn something made you feel even worse, not better? Yeah, that was me, for longer than I want to admit. But here's the part no one talks about. When you feel that way, you don't just feel behind. You start questioning if the problem is really you. Like everyone is absorbing it fine and you just don't get it at all. And that feeling, that's the one that almost made me give up before I even started. But then I did something that changed everything. And it was so simple that it's almost embarrassing to admit. I opened AI and I asked, what are you? What can you do? How can you help me? And it answered clearly, without assuming I already knew things. It answered in a way that I could actually follow. And something shifted, not dramatically, just quietly, because I realized The problem was never me. The problem was where I was looking at. I've been trying to understand AI by watching experts explain to other experts. That's like trying to learn how to swim by watching Olympic divers. Of course, I didn't understand anything. Of course, I felt lost. I was at the wrong place, asking the wrong people in the wrong way. When I changed the question, when I went directly to the source using my own words and my own pace, that's when it clicked. That's when it made sense. That's when I actually started learning. After that, I got more intentional. I stopped trying to watch everything and started being more selective. I did a few courses. I found a community of people who are also trying to learn AI. Not experts, not gurus, just regular people in different stages talking about what really works and what doesn't. And being around that group of people changed something for me because I stopped feeling like I was the only one who hadn't this all figured out. Turns out, almost no one does. They just don't talk about it. And while all that was happening, I was using AI more and more. Not for big dramatic things, but for the small things, for the small tasks of everyday life. I found ways to stop repetitive work, to reduce my mental load, to help me with all those tiny decisions that pile up before noon, ways to talk through the problems that I've been thinking for days, ways to write things that I've been avoiding. And then one day it just clicked. And it was not a big moment. AI, it's not something that I use sometimes anymore. It's woven into my life. And because of it, I feel lighter. So what does AI actually do? Not the textbook version, but the one that really makes sense. Imagine a really smart, really patient friend, available whenever you need her. She doesn't get tired, she doesn't judge you, and she doesn't make you feel stupid for asking simple questions. You need to write a message, but doesn't find the words? She's there to help you start. You have a problem that you've been going back and forth for days? She's there to show you different angles. You need to explain something to your kid, your parent, or your colleague in a way that actually lands? She's there to help you find the words. She doesn't replace your brain. She doesn't make the decisions for you. She doesn't know your life better than you do. But she's there when you need to think out loud, when you need a starting point, when you need someone to help you get unstuck. And that's AI, a thinking partner, a very capable, very patient, very available thinking partner. Not a robot, not a search engine, not something that requires a manual, a degree, or a special kind of brain. Just a tool, one that works really well when you know how to talk to it. Now here's the thing that trips almost everyone up at the beginning, and that tripped me up as well. So I'm not talking from a high place. You try the first time, you type something in, and it gives you something generic, like it was written by nobody for nobody. Technically fine, but it doesn't really help you with what you needed. Here's what I want you to hear. That experience is completely normal, and it has nothing to do with you. AI doesn't know you. It doesn't know your life. It doesn't know your circumstances. It only knows what that first message that you send has on it. So if you just gave it some vague generic message, you will have a vague generic answer. And that is what most of us have been trained on by search engines. The shift happens when you stop treating it like a search bar and you start treating it like that friend that we talk about. When you give it context, when you explain what your situation is, what you have already tried, and what you need, that's when things stop being generic and starts to get better. You don't need a special language to talk to AI. You don't need to take a course to learn how to talk to AI. You just need to treat it like you're talking to someone who is trying to help you. And that's it. That's the unlock. Let me give you some real examples, because I think sometimes an explanation lands better as a picture. I have a friend that uses AI every morning before her day starts. She just opens it, puts everything that is in her mind, her list, her worries, everything that she's been avoiding, and asks it to organize and give her the top 3 things that she needs to finish by end of the day. She's not a tech person. She's just a mom trying to survive motherhood. I have another friend, and he's always commenting on how AI is helping him answer all the hard questions that his kids brings up, from science to history and how things work. So he goes to AI, he asks the questions, he reads the answers, turns into his own words, and brings back the answers to his kids. And his kids look at him like he is the most amazing person in the world because he always has all the answers. None of these people are using AI in any sophisticated way. They're not trying to learn how to code with AI. They're not trying to build systems to work with AI. They're not becoming AI experts. They're just using AI for regular things to make their life easier. And that's available for you too. And here's what I want to understand where this goes, because it matters. It starts with one small thing, one email, one question, one small decision. And you notice that something that used to take 20 minutes or make you feel anxious just doesn't anymore. It frees up a little space, mental space. And then you start questioning, what else could this help me with? And that's the pattern. That's how it happened to me. Not a dramatic transformation, but a quiet accumulation of small reliefs. And over time, these small reliefs adds up to something that really changes your day. Not because you became someone different, but because you have a better tool now.
É o quê? Ai, ai, que bom! Peraí.
That's what this channel is for. Week by week, real things in real life that actually sticks. Not 10 tools at once, not advanced techniques before you're ready to. Not pretending everything is always easy, because sometimes it isn't. And I'll tell you about those moments too. This is week 1, and we started from the very beginning. And next week, we're going to talk about the one thing that changes how well AI will actually help you. And I think most people get it wrong without even realizing it. So follow along, because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And before I go, I want to hear from you. What is the thing about AI that still confuses you or that still makes you nervous? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one.
And your questions literally help shape.
And your questions literally help shape what I make next. So you're not just commenting, you're helping build what this channel becomes.